Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live Argentina discussion. My name is Nemer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. I am joined by Osvaldo Godoy, also of Mundo Albiceleste.com, and we are here to talk about Argentina, Venezuela, the World Cup qualifying match on Thursday, potentially Friday. We're going to get to all of that, and as always in the chat, let us know down below where you're watching from. First things first, Osvaldo, how are you? How's everything?
I'm doing well. I think we have a lot of things to talk about. A lot of players that got injured are not traveling with the national team. The game, we don't know if it's going to be Thursday or Friday. A lot of things to talk about. The truth is that the national team is right now in Miami. They train yesterday, they trained today, and we'll see. We'll see when they fly to Venezuela to play this game.
It's we're gonna get into all of that. They are training at Inter Miami's training complex. Let's get to the chat. See how everyone's doing. BC as always. BC, if I'm not mistaken, from NYC. Thank you, BC, for joining us. Suraj watching us all the way from Dallas, Texas, as well. Thank you, Suraj, for joining. You mentioned it as well. That we just mentioned it. Both of us. Argentina are training in Florida, and you're presently in Florida. You live in Florida. There's something going on over there in the weather right now.
Yes, yes, it is. Right now they're practicing in the Inter Miami complex. That's in Fort Lauderdale. So it's in the east coast of Florida, in the southeast coast, right? I'm personally an hour north of that area, and the hurricane. First of all, there was a hurricane a week ago. We're in hurricane season here. There was, I think it was called Helene or something like that, and it was actually pretty bad, especially for the west coast of Florida and some parts of Georgia. This one is expected to be huge and really, really bad. One of the worst in many, many, many years. But it's coming from the west. So here in Florida, it would arrive more as a tropical storm, especially tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. Although they're not evacuating in this area, they're doing that in all the west coast, Tampa, Sarasota. The truth is that I don't see likely to the Argentina team to travel to Venezuela tomorrow. We'll see if they do it Thursday. I was listening to Scaloni talking just a couple of hours ago in the press conference that they're still trying to see if they can depart tomorrow. I'll give you a personal example, Roy. My grandparents are traveling tomorrow also from Miami to Argentina, and they already changed the flight because it's most likely that it's not going to happen. My dad is actually traveling Thursday. They both changed it for Thursday at night. But the truth is that until Thursday around noon, afternoon, they recommend it's most likely that all the planes are gonna get canceled, the flights. And we were just talking right before the live, in these cases you can be Messi, you can be the Argentina national team, the World Cup champions, the Copa America champions, but the weather is the weather. And I personally, and this is not information because we just listened Scaloni talk, I don't think the game is gonna happen Thursday, to be honest.
I don't know about that. We're going to get to the chat. We're getting a couple of questions, and thank you everybody for joining. Uh, yeah, I don't know how this could happen. I don't know how the match could happen on Thursday. Scaloni, as you mentioned, spoke at a press conference. The team was supposed to fly out initially today. That did not happen. And Scaloni said they're going to try and fly out tomorrow, depending on the weather. Tomorrow's Wednesday. The game is Thursday. If they don't fly out Wednesday, I don't think they're going to fly out, let's say, Thursday at noon and then play the match in the afternoon or in the evening. So I think ultimately it does get postponed unless otherwise something drastic happens and they're able to fly out. You mentioned, for example, family members, your grandparents, your father having to fly out, not tomorrow, having to delay that. So it is a possibility. So for those kind of watching us and maybe unaware, the Hurricane Milton hitting Florida, Argentina presently based in Fort Lauderdale, gonna fly out from there to Venezuela. It does look like it could get postponed. It's not 100% confirmed, but it is certainly a possibility, of
Yeah.
course.
Tomorrow is gonna be the worst day of the hurricane. Again, here it's not gonna be as bad as in the west coast, but I really don't see it happening. And again, something that Scaloni mentioned in the press conference: if they travel Thursday morning, which is still kind of a little bit dangerous, but let's say Thursday noon, they wouldn't be able to arrive in time because there's also an issue of flights don't going directly to Venezuela. they're gonna stop. I forgot the city. They
In
stop
Barranquilla.
somewhere and then they go to Venezuela.
Yeah.
Um,
They'd stop in
yeah,
Colombia, in Barranquilla.
they do because of all the diplomatic situations and stuff. So it's kind of difficult if you ask me.
It's going to be tough. The conditions are obviously not in Argentina's favor in terms of the flights, and obviously the bigger picture in all of this is hopefully no one gets hurt, everyone in Florida is safe, and no one is strongly affected. But in terms of the match itself, yeah, it certainly looks like it could get postponed. We'll know tomorrow, obviously, and in less than 24 hours time, we're going to know, is this match going to take place on Thursday or on Friday? And depending on where you are in the world, that Friday could ultimately be Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. And as always, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. Let's get to the chat, see what everyone's talking about. Mixed memorabilia. Hello, my friend. John, a member of the Mundo Albiceleste family. Good morning from Malaysia. That's. Thank you for joining us, John. Varun, Hyroy, Osvaldo. Thank you. And yeah, we'll tell Messi to change his barber as well. Mixed memorabilia saying no risks required. Postpone the match. Keanu Ruiz, I love that name. Thank you for joining, my friend. Hello to you as well. We're getting some questions, about the list and the players and Nico Paz and everything, and we'll get to all of that. Now, that's, we spoke about what's going on off the pitch, right? Whether it gets delayed until Friday or not. But on the pitch, we're going to have some changes as well. Emiliano Martinez is suspended, not only for this game, but for the match versus Bolivia on Tuesday. Geronimo Rulli set to start. What does everybody think about this? Let us know down below. We spoke about this in the past, Osvaldo. I'm not Rulli's, he would not be my second choice behind, or first choice behind Dibu. Are you confident with Rulli going into this one?
If you ask me, I think we have similar thoughts in the way that I might choose someone else before Rulli, maybe Musso. But it's also true that after Dibu Martinez, we know that Dibu Martinez is the starter always for Argentina. After Dibu Martinez, it can be the Rulli, it can be Musso, and I don't think it changes that much. Rulli has been in the national team for quite a bit, playing in the Olympics, 2 times playing in the Olympics. I think he deserves the chance, and we haven't really seen him that much in the senior team. I don't know if he started before with the senior team.
It's I'm checking that now. I believe he has started in the past for Argentina. I'm just going to confirm that. But he wouldn't be my first choice either. As we mentioned, we'll take a look at what the chat thinks as well. First things, Sean Cherry, welcome, Sean, from Delray, Florida. Hope you're safe, Sean. Be safe from the hurricane and everything going on. And thank you for joining us, for spending your Tuesday night with us. Varun saying Walter Benitez. Benitez, certainly, he's gotten one start with Argentina in the past, earlier this year, right before I believe it was in March, if I'm not mistaken, March or April. And looking now, actually, Geronimo Rulli, he's played in 2018. In 2018, in a 3-0 win versus Guatemala. If I'm not mistaken, that was also Scaloni's first match in charge of the national team as well. So funny enough, he has started for Argentina, and he started in the first ever match under Scaloni. Also played versus Mexico, and then was out of the team for a long time. Barnabas Kodner, Rulli saved the penalty for Ecuador. He has started. Yes, he has. And let's take a look. Mixed memorabilia. Utmost respect to the opponents, but these 2 games Scaloni can experiment, as the games versus Brazil and Uruguay later will be crucial. I think that's also a fair thing to say, Osvaldo. If there are 2 games where you might want to experiment a little bit and you could afford to maybe miss some players, it's probably these 2 games, starting off versus Venezuela.
Yes. And we're not talking about a goalkeeper that maybe didn't go and had an incredible week. That it's Paulo Gazzanigas, who saved 3 penalties. I would like to see him in the future to have his chance with the national team, especially if Emi Martinez is not there because he's suspended or he does one of his craziness again. But of course, Dibu Martinez the starter. But I would like to see Gazzaniga in the list at some point.
Yeah, but Gazzaniga, I remember first watching when in Tottenham, obviously career before Tottenham, but that was the first time he really caught my attention. He was kind of the number two behind Hugo Lloris. He's done well with Girona. He has done very well, saved 4 penalty kicks in the last 2 games. So Argentina are solid in the penalty kicks saving department. Geronimo Rulli has saved 2 penalty kicks this season alone. So it's not like he's bad at them. He's very, very good at them as well. So Argentina have options. Let's see what everyone's saying. Shayef saying Rulli is so dangerous. He always makes mistakes. That's the thing a little bit with Rulli, and maybe why I'm not 100% always confident with him is he will play one match and he'll be the best goalkeeper in the world. He'll make some incredible saves, and then he'll have one blunder and he'll let in a goal. So he's a little bit too inconsistent for me, but he has been solid for Marseille this season. He had a decent Olympics, all things considered. So I don't think he's gonna, and I hope not. I hope he doesn't have too much to do versus Venezuela, but I'm interested in seeing what happens versus Bolivia if Rulli gets the start in that match as well. Because if he does, then he's
Yeah.
really the number two.
Yeah, one of the main things of a goalkeeper, especially in a national team, I think they have to be able to transmit that safety to their team, and maybe Rulli struggles with that a little bit. Again, he can make incredible saves, but then make little mistakes, and that's when maybe the defenders don't feel that security that they should feel.
No, exactly. That's exactly it. And we'll see how he does, how he transmits the confidence, the safety, as you said, versus Venezuela to the back line, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But we're going to get some changes to the back line as well. Keanu Ruiz saying, "I'd go with Rulli. He has made some impressive saves for Marseille this year, but of course makes some mistakes. No goalkeeper is perfect, of course. I'm confident enough in Rulli. I think he'll do well, and I'm confident in the team. But I would have liked to have maybe seen Juan Musso. Probably would have been my first choice. All right. Now we spoke about the confidence and the safety and transmitting that over to the team, and specifically the back line. We're gonna get some changes, and they're gonna need it. Christian Romero suspended versus Venezuela. In all likelihood, Nicolas Otamendi set to start alongside Lisandro Martinez. Not much of a surprise, Osvaldo?
It really isn't, because if you see the other options, you have Pesela, Valerdi, and not much more in that center back position. I think Otamendi, we kind of criticized him a little bit in the last couple of performances, but he's still, if it's not Messi, he's the captain of the national team at this point that Di Maria is not there anymore. And I think that he deserves to be a starter now that Cuti Romero is suspended,
Yeah, no, I think this would be fair. It's not like he's a bad defender. He's still good. He had a decent Copa America, obviously a tremendous World Cup. Him alongside him with Lisandro Martinez versus Venezuela, I'm very very confident in. Had it been maybe versus Uruguay or a different kind of team, I still would have been confident, but there's some risks there. But overall, I'm no problems with that. Let me ask you this, Osvaldo, and ask everybody else this. Personally, if you were Scaloni, would you go with Otamendi or would you go with Balerdi? Would you go with Petzela? Would you go with someone else?
As I saw one of the comments, I think these two matches, especially us being in the first position of the standings and against Venezuela, against Bolivia, I would like to see one of the players, like for example Valerdi, who's having a good season in Marseille. He has been having a good season also the last one. So I would like to see a couple of minutes of Valerdi. Maybe start Otamendi one game and start Valerdi another game, because we also need to start seeing these youngsters that are gonna be the future of the national team, because Otamendi will most likely not play the 2026 World Cup, or we'll see. But I think that it's good to see these young players having some minutes.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that. And I believe it's Mixed Memorabilia's comment from earlier in terms of experimenting these 2 games. Funny enough, if you're going to start Geronimo Rulli as the goalkeeper, Balerdi, putting him in the back line, Rulli and Balerdi play together at Marseille. So they're building that chemistry. They're building that communication over in France in Ligue 1. So why not bring that over to the national team? Now, if Rulli were to start as well versus Bolivia, then I could, I would say, hey, play Balerdi, but by then Cuti Romero is going to be back, and you're not going to start Balerdi over Cuti Romero. So, I think this would be a great opportunity for Balerdi to get back into the team. I believe the last time he really played was versus Ecuador in 2019, I believe, right before COVID. It was a big win, 6-1 or 5-1, something like that for Argentina. So, bring him back in, and as you said, giving some of these younger players the opportunity to play and test them out. This would be solid, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Maybe as a substitute, or ultimately if Lisandro gets put in as a left back and you bring in Balerdi in the second half, but we'll see what gives. We'll see what gives.
And the other center back option in the list would be Germán Pesela, which I know that is not many people like him in the national team because of some mistakes he have made in the past. He's having a really good present right now at River Plate. He got injured a little bit just a couple of days ago, but he's still traveling, and I think he'll still be a choice for Lionel Scaloni. And again, he's been having a good season with River Plate. Of course, I think we can't really compare the Argentine league with the big European leagues, but it's another option there as a center back.
Yeah, and Petzela is one of the more experienced players as well. He's been there for a long time with the national team, and as you said, in very good form for River Plate under Gallardo. Let's take a look at the chat, see what everyone is saying. Sheikh saying goalkeeper and backline will struggle, but good to see Tagliafico back. That's very true. Nicolas Tagliafico missed the September World Cup qualifying matches and back in, and he'll undoubtedly be the left back this time. Paul Codner, welcome, Paul. Thank you for joining us. Paul saying, I would start Balerdi, especially since he should have good chemistry with Rulli. It's time to move past Otamendi. Similar thoughts, you and I as well. Keanu Ruiz, Licha is in good form with Man United. Why isn't Martinez Cuarta in the squad? I think Martinez Cuarta is one of those players where he had he had his spot within the national team and kind of lost it especially with Lisandro Martinez and Cuti Romero really stepping up. And I think there's only so many options at center back that Scaloni is going to pick from, in my opinion.
At one point, Martinez Cuarta and Beltran, both players from Fiorentina, were called up. Right now, they haven't been called up. If you see them, they're not really playing that much in Fiorentina. I don't know exactly why, because I think that when they did play, they did it well.
There were even rumors, not to get too sidetracked, there were even rumors that Beltran could go back to River Plate for the Club World Cup. I don't know if you saw that. Obviously, it's just rumors, and I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, they haven't been playing too much. Varun saying he'd start Balerdi. I really wish Palacios gets a chance in midfield. No offense to Enzo, but Palacios has been playing at a higher level than him. Yeah, that's one of the good problems to have if you're Scaloni. It's the midfielders, and Argentina have a lot of them. Licha might play left back, so we never know. No Acuna, but Soler has been called up, the left back from Lanús. He's been called to the team. Hopefully he gets some minutes. It'd be good to see Nicolas Tagliafico get some rest and maybe give Soler the opportunity. Maybe versus Bolivia at home.
Yeah, I'm reading Varun's comment about Soler. I really haven't been following him much with Lanús. I follow him in the Olympics. I think he did a great job. He's only 19 years old and he played in the under-23 national team of Argentina. I think he has a really great future. And I was actually listening to Scaloni in the press conference because for me it was surprising of him after Acuña's injury to call Soler and not Barco. He was mentioning a little bit about the times and how it's more difficult to get an European player when it's like this, and it's easier to bring a player from the Argentina league. So I guess that's why he decided to choose Soler over Barco. But still, a great future in the Lanús left back.
Yeah, I saw that too, and maybe if Barco was still with Boca, he would have gotten called up in place of Soler. But at 19, as you mentioned, he did very well at the Olympics. One of Argentina's better players in the tournament, and 19 years old, called up. I don't think for the last time. I think we're going to be seeing more of Soler, especially because we're not too deep at left backs.
Yeah, something that surprised me in the Olympics, I don't know about you, Roy, but his personality. He didn't like at all when he left the field against France.
Oh, he showed
He has a
character.
lot of personality. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of character. That I agree with. That I agree with. Keep the comments coming, everybody. We're gonna keep reading them. Hit the like button, by the way, if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button and notifications button. We're gonna be doing a live review as well after Argentina's match versus Venezuela, whether that's Thursday night or Friday night. We'll be doing one as well. Taking a look. What else we have? BC. Hello, BC. BC saying, I wouldn't make Lisandro play a different position. He's already been struggling at center back with United and De Ligt and that pairing over there. Mixed memorabilia, the solid foundation that's been set now in all departments is just that locked. We have to have that solid base and now develop further by introducing new players. The Scaloni knows how to do this. Yes, he does. Sheikh, talking about the right backs. Still no Maffeo and Montiel got selected and didn't play one match for Sevilla. This, I'm being honest, and I obviously agree with this, in my opinion, is an underlying problem. It's a problem that maybe not too many have spoken about. I know we've discussed it at length. Argentina are not that deep when it comes to right backs, and this could have been a good opportunity for Maffeo to get called up and experiment in these two games.
Yeah, it's also true that we're very deep in all the other positions, and in the right back, we have a player like Molina who plays in a big team in Spain, but he's not having a really good season. He's not playing those many games. And then Montiel, that yes, he's not starting for Sevilla. And Maffeo, on the other hand, he's playing for Mallorca. He's doing it pretty well. I would have been very surprised if Maffeo was in place of Montiel for this collab, but it's also true that Montiel, well, first he scored the goal in the penalty goal against France, that the last penalty, and that whenever he had to play with Argentina, he did it well.
No, he's done well. Like if you want to go back to the Copa America final, he's done very well in the big matches. I can't remember a single match, a single big match for Argentina where Montiel has played bad at all. He's done very good to excellent. If you want to go back to 2021, the Copa America final was tremendous, absolutely tremendous. The World Cup final, excluding the unlucky handball, the penalty kick goal, the 2024 Copa final did very well as well. He's done well. It's just the fact that, I would like to experiment with a different right back. Give that chance maybe to Maffeo or somebody else. All right. Excellent. Let's keep it coming and keep it going, everybody. Now, from one position that we're not too deep to probably the position where we have the most depth, and that is in midfield. Alexis McAllister doesn't look to be 100%. Scaloni pretty much all but saying he's not going to play versus Venezuela. Lo Celso, Palacios, who do you start? Let us know down below. Osvaldo, what do you think? Who would you go
Yeah.
with?
First of all, there's no need to risk him, especially in a match like this. I wouldn't start McAllister. I wouldn't. I think Scaloni even mentioned about him not even going to the bench, which I think would be smart because there's no point of risking him. I would go with Lo Celso. I think that Scaloni's go with Lo Celso because he likes him a lot, even when he was not having minutes with Tottenham. And now that he's playing amazingly with Betis and scoring almost every single game, I would start Lo Celso, definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think based on current form right now, McAllister aside, Lo Celso's Argentina's most informed midfielder right now. Not just the goals, but just his overall play. He has been that good for Real Betis. I agree with you. I think McAllister's. There's no need to risk McAllister, and I think Lo Celso gets the start as well in midfield. If we really look at it, I mean, in midfield we have Paredes, McAllister, De Paul, Palacios, Enzo, Lo Celso, Thiago Almada, depending on where you want to play him, and the same for Facundo Buonanotte. Buonanotte, in all likelihood, probably won't start, might not even make the bench. That leaves us with either Paredes, Lo Celso, or Palacios, realistically speaking, to start in place of McAllister. I don't think Almada gets to start. Out of those three, it's a no-brainer. Lo Celso's the best form, in the best form.
And let me ask you, Roy, because I mean we're kind of assuming that Enzo and De Paul will start, but based on the form of the players, based on if you were the coach, which three midfielders would you start?
That's a very good question. I mean, obviously Rodrigo De Paul, that you have to. He's the first name in midfield. Him, McAllister. Sorry, well, McAllister, but McAllister's not there. So I'll go De Paul, Lo Celso, and Enzo. I play Enzo as that defensive midfielder, Lo Celso more in front of him, and De Paul. Those would be my three, and bring Paredes on as a substitute. Although Palacios maybe deserves that chance, but those would be my three. What about you, Osvaldo? Who would be your three?
I would go with the same, because even though Palacios has got a great season the last season, if Scaloni didn't really play him that much back then, I don't think he will start him now. And still, I think that even De Paul and Atletico Madrid are not going through a great moment right now. Uh, in the national team, he always play really well, and the same goes with Enzo Fernandez.
No, exactly. No matter how, even if De Paul is not playing at all for Atletico, the second he plays for Argentina, he's one of the best players. So I'm not worried. Let's look at what the chat has to say. What everybody's thinking about this one here. Varun saying Lo Celso, Palacios, and Paredes. That would be an interesting one. No Rodrigo De Paul. Rigo Thomas. We're going to talk about that front line and the injuries. Naeem talking about Thiago Fernandez. Sheikh saying a 4-4-2. Lo Celso, Paredes, Enzo De Paul, and then up front Messi and Lautaro. Would you see, or do you think Scaloni could potentially go with the midfield 4, or do you think he's going to go with a midfield 3, Osvaldo?
He might do it, more taking into consideration that Nico Gonzalez is injured. Di Maria is no longer in the national team, so Garnacho is not even there. So we don't have a lot of wingers, to be honest. I mean, who do we have? We have Carboni, who I don't see him starting. Buonanotte, who I don't see him starting. Nico Paz.
I don't see starting.
All very, very young, it's a good comment, that one, because I think that Scaloni might play a 4-4-2 actually.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you, Sheikh. Thank you. I didn't even think of that. We could get that. Mixed Memorabilia saying Lo Celso, Paredes, and De Paul. Charlie, welcome, Charlie. Charlie saying this is probably the most depth the Argentine national team has had in the midfield in a good while. I would say the last time Argentina had this depth in midfield was probably in 2006, 2007. Riquelme, Aymar, Veron, Cambiaso, Lucho Gonzalez. I think that was the last time. Mascherano, yeah, it's Mascherano. Technically, you could even throw Andres D'Alessandro in there as well if you really wanted to. A lot of players, and that's a lot of players, a lot of depth. Let's take a look. Mixed Memorabilia. Playing Paredes to start, so to bring on more attacking options. All right, okay. And that's all we got for midfield. Slight comment, but I'm talking about Iniesta. In my opinion, Spain's greatest ever midfielder and probably Spain's greatest ever player, in my opinion.
No, for sure.
That good.
For sure. Seeing Iniesta, Xavi, and Busquets, with Messi, what a team.
That was a legendary team. But you know what? So is this Argentina team. A legendary team, 4 trophies, all led by this man right here. Lionel Messi returns. Scaloni's pretty much confirmed it. He's ready. He's good. And he's going to start versus Venezuela. Wasn't there in September. It's Messi. What more can we say? Incredible.
And he came back from his injury, and he's playing incredibly with Inter Miami. He recently won another trophy. So I think he's focused, and he's willing to win more, which I don't know how he's able to do, because he already won so many titles, so many things. He still wants more. He still is willing to travel to Venezuela to play a qualifier than if you really think about it, it doesn't mean that much because Argentina is gonna qualify to the World Cup, and he still wants to be there. He still wants to play. I'm sure he's gonna start and maybe play the 90 minutes both matches. We'll see. We'll see that. But it's great to have him back.
It's always great to have Messi back. I mean, you were at the stadium for some of the goals that Messi scored since coming back from injury for Inter Miami. 46 career trophies, and this is the crazy part that you just said. He doesn't have to be playing these matches. He doesn't have to play versus Venezuela. He doesn't even have to start versus Bolivia. Technically, you could bring him on as a substitute versus Bolivia in Argentina for the home fans to see, but he's gonna play. He's gonna play versus Venezuela, and he's obviously going to play versus Bolivia. Whether he plays the 90 minutes or not, he doesn't even have to be playing these games because, as you said, Argentina, not to be arrogant or confident, but Argentina will qualify for the World Cup unless something crazy happens. He doesn't need to be playing these games, but at 37 years old, continues to play these games and want to play these games, which is insane.
Yeah, he has just a love for the sport that it goes beyond titles, it goes beyond recognition. He just likes to play football, and that's what he's done his whole life, and what he continues enjoying to do. I don't think he thinks much at this point about personal awards, trophies. He just wants to continue playing and scoring goals, making assists.
Yeah, it's what he cares about most. He's always said it. He's always said it, and he always said he would give up every trophy he ever won with Barcelona for a World Cup or for a trophy with Argentina. And he has 4 of them, and we've seen ever since winning the World Cup just how relaxed he is playing and how much he enjoys playing even more now, which is always fun to see. Taking a look at the comments. Hemlock Bar, hello. Thank you for joining us. Giano talking about Iniesta, saying the world's greatest midfielder. Naim would go with the midfield of Palacios, Lo Celso, and De Paul. Rigaud Thomas saying a 4-4-2 all day. Let's see what else we got. Keanu Ruiz. I got to see Messi's return game in Miami versus Philadelphia. He's a step slower with the leg injury, but he's still Messi. I wouldn't play him 90 minutes versus Venezuela, but it will help. Mixed memorabilia. My dream for Messi is to go back to Newell's and win the league, and then the Copa Libertadores. That would be very cool to see, but I think a little bit difficult. And Sheikh, yeah. Should Messi play 2 full 90 minutes or 60-60 each? Honestly, I'd say 60-60 each. I don't know about you, Osvaldo.
No, I agree. I think we kind of talked a little bit about it in the last live. I think that it's gonna be a difficult task for Scaloni because we know how Messi is in the way that whenever he's playing in the game, he doesn't want to be subbed off. But I think Scaloni, in that sense, has to be smart. Messi too, and have to think that he's not anymore 25, 26 years old, and that he needs to. Even more if Argentina is winning easily, just leave the field in the 60th minute, more or less.
Yeah. No, exactly. We'll talk about one last thing here. Baroun, by the way, anyone noticed a trend where some Madrid players like Vinicius, Militao, Mbappe getting mysterious 2-week injuries? You think Garnacho did the same? I don't think Garnacho did the same. I've watched, I think, probably every single minute of Manchester United's matches this season. Garnacho has gotten kicked. He's gotten tackled heavily. And, he seems like the type that would want to play. And I think he knows this as well. With no Nicolas Gonzalez, he was probably set to start or at least get significant minutes in these 2 games. And I just think he's not 100% fit. I don't think he's faking anything. It would have been interesting to see him get those minutes, though. I was excited, Osvaldo. I don't know about you. I was excited to see Garnacho make the start.
Yeah, it was kind of his moment. Yes, I'm sure he really wanted to be in this double match day.
Yeah. Hello from the Solomon Islands. Hello. Messi needs to play. As long as we're winning, Messi needs to play, continue to play, period, in my opinion. Paul Alvarez should start up front with Messi because his work rate compensates for Messi's limited pressing. Lautaro's work rate is not as high as Alvarez. Bring on Lautaro as a super sub. And that's the thing. We don't know. If it's going to be a 4-3-3, you would think Messi, Lautaro, Julian. If it's a 4-4-2, then Messi and who else? no Nicolas Gonzalez, no Alejandro Garnacho, no Paulo Dybala. 3 players which would have played. So Scaloni might have to depend a little bit on Nico Paz and Carboni, maybe Buonanotte or Almada. I think we're about to see some fresh faces, some new faces a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to see some fresh faces, especially again in these 2 matches. It's always good to see new players, new prospects like Buonanotte, Almada, Soler. I'm really looking forward for that.
I'm excited. I'm very excited for this match. Whether it takes place on Thursday night or Friday night, as long as the players are safe and everybody's safe, of course. We'll see. We're going to be doing, I think it's fair to say, we'll be doing a live review after the match, whether it's Thursday or Friday. We'll be here talking about it all. Before we close things off, Osvaldo, any final thoughts?
Not really, just excited to see Argentina again. We'll see which day they're gonna play. I'm also excited to see what's gonna be the starting lineup. If Scaloni decides to go with maybe Julian and Lautaro on top or just one of them, it's gonna be some interesting games. And of course, we hope to continue playing the way Argentina usually plays with Scaloni, and of course, winning.
That's the big thing, right? I think we're gonna see some different faces. I'm hoping to see some of the youngsters as well. I'm excited. Yes, we have a lot of injuries and there's a lot going on. We don't even know when the match is going to be played, but always excited to watch Argentina play. On that note, a big thank you to everybody. Hit the like button if you haven't. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Hit the notifications button if you haven't, to be the first person notified as soon as a new video starts, as soon as we go live. As always, everybody, my name is Roy Nemer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. I'm joined by Osvaldo Godoy of Mundo Albiceleste.com. A big thank you to everybody for joining us. Until next time, we're going to be back here after Argentina's match versus Venezuela. So stay tuned. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye.